Hey everybody, welcome to week 13. Let me share my screen and get right into things. So we're still working on the Recast project, and we'll take a look at the learning outcomes, which are more or less a repeat of the previous week. I do want to call your attention to the weekly objectives here, though. At the top, we have apply U.S. copyright laws and Creative Commons licenses to image usage. And search for images online using ethical guidelines. You will also learn how to perform a reverse image search, and then the rest of those are objectives from the previous week. So with this, we're going to be focusing on copyright laws, Creative Commons licenses, fair usage, because it's important, just as with your writing, when you are incorporating sources, that you use proper citation and you give proper attribution. In these recast projects, especially if you take a visual approach, if you're doing a poster or making a video and you're incorporating images from other places that you found, images that aren't your own, it's important to give those images proper attribution. So that is mainly the focus of this week's learning. So let's take a look at the assignments overview. So most of this stuff is pages, they are pages from either previous units, things that I've posted already, but I placed them here for you to take a look. You also will be able to refer again to chapters 2, chapter 5, and chapter 7. All of those have to deal with things that you've learned in the past regarding the rhetorical situation, rhetorical appeals, and writing public text or multimedia texts. So the reading assignments here, these are just the course pages. We have the recast projects, then a copyright, fair use, and Creative Commons page. So I want you to read through and watch the embedded videos there. And then there is a library guide page called Citing Your Sources, which also emphasizes the proper way to deal with copyrighted, fair use, and Creative Commons things so that you have proper citation. So it says pay special attention to the type of media that you might be using as a part of your project. You might be using images, music, video clips, so on and so forth. And those are things that you will need to attribute properly in your project. So if you're doing a video, you may need to and I don't know the ins and outs of it. I'm not a video production expert. This is as far as I go with my video production. I put a title card and I shoot my video and that's it. But if you know how to do rolling credits, you could do that for a video, or you could just have stills that you incorporate at the end of your video, however you feel like doing it, as long as you're giving proper attribution. Same with, say, you're doing a PowerPoint slide. At the end of your presentation, you would have a slide that had like your work cited so that you're giving proper attribution. Anytime that you use an image, you should have a caption underneath that gives some kind of attribution, image from blah, blah, blah. Of course, if it's art that is being used from Microsoft, if you're using PowerPoint and you just go into the files there and you find an image that they have, you don't need to do attribution because those are all Creative Commons type things. They're all in the public domain. Music, again, that gets tricky, especially if you're using music that's copyrighted and you didn't get permission to use it and you're putting it in a YouTube video. YouTube might flag it. But so it's best to go and look for free music if you want to do music in the background, or if you're a musical person, maybe you want to record some music, what have you. Okay. So as far as the writing or other assignments, we have a peer review of your recast rough draft That's due the 17th. And then your copyright, fair use, and Creative Commons quiz is due on the 18th. That's just to check your knowledge, make sure that you were paying attention to those videos and you understand the importance of the rules surrounding copyright, fair use, and Creative Commons. Then there is a discussion board post where you are imagining your ideal audience, and that's on the 19th. And then we have a second draft of your recast project, which will be due the 21st. And this recast project is just the list of links that I provided in week 12. That's just a repeat, so you can refer back to them if you're interested, or if you haven't gone through all of them, hit the ones that you haven't hit yet. And then this page is the copyright, fair use, and Creative Commons page. And it just hits the highlights of each, and these videos are quite short. I think they're under 5 minutes. So there's this copyright and fair use animated video, some more information about Creative Commons, and then a video on Creative Commons. And this is another one that's quite short, but the information that's contained in both of these is really pretty good. Then some information on searching for images online. Instructions on how to do a reverse image search using TinyEye or Google. And then you can search for Creative Commons images. There's the Library of Congress digital collections. Everything that I think is in here is in the public domain and should be okay to use without having to give without having to get permission. So also with Google, when using Google to search for images, once you've searched for your key term, click on Images and Tools. Then you have a drop-down menu on usage rights, and you will choose the appropriate license label. And here are some screenshots for that. Hopefully you all know how to do that already. But if not, here's your chance to learn. The next page is that embedded citing your sources page from the library guide. We have the introduction to citing sources, then there's MLA citation. And then if you have questions about citing film and video or images, online sources, sound, and plagiarism avoidance, then you can look that up there. If you really need some help, you can always ask one of the librarians. And then, well, we have information for the Writing Center if you need some guidance there, but I don't think you'll need too much help. You know your topic and you have some kind of a plan already. So I'm hoping this is fun for you. I really am. And then we have the copyright, fair use, and Creative Commons quiz. It's worth 5 points, so it's a short quiz. Just make sure that you read or you watch the videos before you try to take the quiz, and you have 2 attempts. So that's due the 18th. And I think we come to our next to the last page. This is the journal prompt, imagining your audience. So I want you to imagine your ideal audience for your recast project. Think about the things that interest them, what they might be passionate about, what activities, groups, or organizations might your audience be involved in, what would your audience find most intriguing about your project. What do you expect that your audience will do or think after reading or viewing your project? What would your audience want to talk to you about after reading or viewing your project? And what would you like to tell your audience about your project? And this is worth 5 points. You can do text entry or upload a file. And that's due on the 19th. And then the last is the revision or draft number 2. Again, it'll be a similar type of submission that you did with your previous draft. It could be text box entry, website URL, media recording, file upload, depending on what genre you have chosen, and that is due on the 21st. Let me come to the assignments page here just to take a look at what we have left. So we're coming down here. This is the Recast Project, and the final submission should, let me let me reorder these. The final submission for that Recast Project is due right before Thanksgiving, right? It's due the 24th, that Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And then we are going to head into working on the final portfolio. You have that period through Thanksgiving until finals week to work on that, and I will discuss more on that as we get closer to that date. So if you have any questions, if you're struggling with anything or you just need my feedback on something, I'm happy to do that. You know how to get in touch with me. All right, have a great week, everybody. Take care.